Did you know that a shocking 80% of people are applying under eye concealer incorrectly? Stick around to find out the common mistakes, if you're making them, and how to fix them. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mimi, and this is Simply Sophisticated Over 50. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to correctly apply under eye concealer to conceal redness, under eye circles, and puffiness. The under eye area is very delicate, and using the right techniques can make a world of difference in your beauty routine. The skin of the under eye area is a lot thinner than the skin on the rest of your face. It doesn't contain as much subcutaneous fat, it doesn't have the oil glands that are on the rest of your face, and it doesn't contain as much collagen. And also, the older we get, the less collagen our skin produces. Because of this, the under eye area, since it's so thin, is more prone to show redness, to show more wrinkles, and of course, the wonderful puffiness. As always, if you have any concern about your health or your skin, I recommend you seek out medical help with a medical professional. There are many health factors that may contribute to under eye puffiness and under eye discoloration. So you want to rule those out first. Hopefully it's just something cosmetic that you can conceal with the right concealer. Today I'm going to demonstrate proper application of under eye concealer. I don't have any on right now, but before I do, let me address some common mistakes that you might be making when applying under eye concealer. First of all, the wrong shade. You want to make sure you're using the right shade or the right shades in the right places when you're applying your under eye concealer. Some shades can actually accentuate puffiness and also accentuate fine lines and wrinkles. Which brings me to number 2, using too much under eye concealer. This can cause cakiness. It can also sit in your fine lines. You want to make sure you've got the best formulation for your skin for your under eye concealer. Number 3 is probably the most important. That would be placement. You want to make sure you're applying your concealer to the right areas depending on what your concern is. And number 4, are you blending your concealer with a damp beauty blender? Okay, let's go ahead and get started. You might see people put under eye concealer. I see it all the time. They'll take the concealer and they just put it right directly underneath their eye, and look how that accentuates puffiness. What you want to do is first start with discoloration. What works best for mature skin, what works best for me, is using a concealer that has a thin consistency, something that's not too thick. I do have a couple of different options. One of the ones I want to show you, I use this one quite a bit. This is Sisley in Paris. I love this concealer, but it is on the pricey side. So this is a high-end concealer. The name of this one is Eye Concealer with Botanical Extracts. The shade of this is the number 2. This is by Sisley Paris. I love this concealer, like I said, but it is pricey. It does have, and it's a mess on the top of it, it does have an applicator that is cooling, which also helps with the puffiness. You can apply it with a brush also. I'm not going to use this one today because I want to use one that's a little more cost-friendly, but it's very similar to this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 different concealers on both eyes so you can kind of see the difference. The first one I'm going to use is NARS. This is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer. You can see I've used it quite a bit. This one's a little bit thicker than the other one that I'm going to use. I am going to use a brush. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here in the corner of my eye where the redness is, and I also have some redness under here. I'm going to apply it here only. I'm not going to apply it to the whole under eye area. Also, I'm going to want to make sure that I have a beauty blender that's damp, and that's going to be ready to go to blend that in after I apply that. I'm going to use a nice clean concealer brush, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that right underneath the corner of my eye where the redness is more prominent. Let me put my hair back. We don't want to apply too much because that's going to be too thick. And this is very thick, so I don't want it to be cakey. So I'm going to be real careful with this. I'm going to actually let this warm up to my skin before I blend it with the Beauty Blender. Also, I'm gonna take my fingers and I'm just gonna lightly, gently press in and kind of warm it up. And that way it won't settle in fine lines. We're gonna blend with the Beauty Blender, damp sponge. With this particular shade, it's like a peachy shade, you're bringing the color down right in this area so that it's going to conceal any puffiness. Once again, I don't want to put it across my under eye area completely. You don't ever want to put any light color on top of your puffy area. You want to put it underneath. What happens is when you have a contour shadow, that's going to make it recede. If you have something that's brightening, that's going to pull it forward. That's why you do not want any shiny, any highlight, any kind of product underneath your under eye area. Now, to combat and to kind of even things out, we're going to put a lighter shade on the outside of the eye area. I'm going to use Shape Tape by Tarte. This is a radiant shade, and it is Fair Light Neutral. And we're going to take this and we're just going to apply that. I'm going to use a brush so that I have a little more control. And we're going to place this right on the outer corner and in this whole area here, kind of like in a triangle area here. This is very light, it doesn't sit in lines, and it's highlighting and brightening. I'm gonna let that sit for a few seconds on my skin to warm up to my skin once again, and then I'm gonna blend that with the Beauty Blender. The next thing I'm gonna do is, we don't want any shininess, so I want to put a little bit of powder in this under eye area, but I don't want it to be cakey. So I'm gonna use IT Cosmetics. This is Bye Bye Pores in Translucent, and I'm gonna use a fan brush to apply that because I don't want a lot of product on my brush, and I wanna just sweep something across that under eye area. Here's my fan brush. I'm gonna tap off the excess because I don't want a lot on my skin. And you're just gonna sweep that lightly. Okay, that's the first eye, and it is a little cakey. I noticed the consistency of the NARS concealer that's right here in the corner is a little too thick for me. So I'm gonna use something else on the other eye that's not gonna be as cakey. Any products I'm using today, I'm gonna link below. I'm not sponsored by any of these. I'm gonna use Trish McEvoy Instant Eye Lift. If you've seen any of my other videos, I've been using this a lot. This is a lot lighter consistency. It still has the peachy tone, so this is gonna be perfect for the inner corner area. I'm gonna apply this one the same way, just kind of straight down, just to conceal that redness that I have. And you don't need a lot of product. You can always apply more if you don't have enough on to begin with. It's easier to apply more than it is to remove it. I'm gonna let this warm up to my skin once again before applying the Beauty Blender to blend it in. This one is a lot smoother. It's a lot thinner consistency. Okay, the outer corner of my eye, once again, we're gonna use Tarte Shape Tape. I'm gonna let that warm up to my skin as well and blend it in. And once again, a little powder, just to set that area. This is the side with Trish McEvoy, and this is the side with NARS. And there you have it. So once again, you're gonna wanna make sure that you use the right shade. You're gonna wanna make sure that you use the right consistency. You don't have too much on to avoid cakiness. You're gonna wanna make sure that you have proper placement, and then you're gonna wanna make sure that you blend in the product. If you have any under eye concealer tips, comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you learned something new, give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe to subscribe for more videos on beauty hacks and tips and tricks for women over 50. Thanks for watching. See you next time.